figure it out? Okay. Okay. All right, guys. It is day 19, Thursday, February 13th. And for your do now today, I gave you 2 different right triangles. I wanted you to solve for the missing sides using the Pythagorean theorem. So for number 1, what answers did you guys get?
24.2
24.2 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone get something different?
24.16.
Ooh,
Yeah.
24.16.
Well, I just rounded up to 1.
Ah. Okay, so I like this answer a little better because I want 2 decimal places.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. Is this answer wrong? No, it's not wrong at all. This is a correct answer, but this one's a little better, just a little better.
Wait, so like when we're doing the test, you want us to do the second one pretty much?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now, let's look at how we got this. Make sure we all understand. When we are using a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we first need to decide what we're going to decide our a, b, and c are. Does it matter which one I choose for a, b, and c? Say that again.
For A and B, no.
For A and B, no, it doesn't matter. You can make those either of the 2 sides, creating the 90-degree angle. So I could do 10 squared plus 22 squared. Or I could do 22 squared plus 10 squared. I'll get the same answer. What is the side that matters the most?
The right angle.
The right angle. That's the angle. What about the side? Which side has to be C?
Hypotenuse.
Ooh, thank you. You remember the word. Hypotenuse. That's the longest side on the triangle. It's also the side across from the 90-degree angle. This side is always C, no matter what. So let's solve through here now. We have plugged in our values for A and B, and we don't know C. So what is 10 squared?
100.
100. What's 22 squared?
44.
44?
48.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't think it's 44. Okay, 100 plus 484 equals C squared. So we'll add those together. 584 equals C squared. And then what did you all do as your last step?
Square root on 584.
Yes. Square root both sides. That gets C by itself. And the square root of 584 is 24.16. Very nice. And here I'll go through how we type that in again just in case. I'm going to use that second button, the x squared button, and there's our square root. 584, enter. 24.10. Oh, it actually wouldn't be 16. 17. We round up. Oh, 24.166. That means 17. We round up the last digit. Am I grading you on rounding? No. Will I count this wrong? No. It's close enough. Okay. But just for in the future, when you do have to round, especially if you're taking college courses in math eventually, you'll want to make sure that we round it correctly. So 24.17 inches. All right. Any questions about number 1? All right. Ready for number 2? Okay. Number 2. Let's decide first, what is my C? Which side? 15. Thank you. 15 is right across from a 90-degree angle. This is my hypotenuse. So 15 has to be C. So I'm going to rewrite this. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, so My C is 15. Now, does it matter if I make 12A or B?
No.
Not really, no. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna make it my B, so A squared is a little separate. So I have A squared plus 12 squared equals 15 squared. So, now we have our equation set up. What should we do?
Square of 12.
Yes.
Square root of 12.
So-
144.
144.
Square root of 15.
What's 15?
225.
15 squared is 225, you're right. And we'll bring everything back. Good. So now I have A squared plus 144 equals 225. What do I do next?
Take 144 from both sides.
Yes. I cannot take the square root of both sides until I have A squared by itself. So this time, I need to subtract 144 from both sides to get A squared all alone before we can solve.
81.
A squared equals, you said it's 81?
Yeah.
Okay. Might have accidentally given you a nice number. Okay. So, how do I find A now? Square root? That's alright, I knew what you meant. Okay, and the square root of 81 is 9. 9 inches. Or I guess it's X. So, 9 inches. Okay. Okay. How many of you got number 2 right?
Second try, yeah.
Second try, yeah? This one, it's tricky. We have to remember that C is always the hypotenuse, the longest side, the one across from 90. That's the main rule that we have to remember when we use this formula, or this theorem. Okay. So, can I move this? Does anyone still need to see it? All right, I'm gonna move it. Let's pull up our notes. Today we are just continuing sort of a big review because on Monday, the plan is we'll do a practice quiz, Tuesday we'll quiz. Now, we have covered a lot this unit. Covered a lot. Do you think your brains can handle one more thing?
I'm good.
Okay, one more. I want to introduce you guys to one last concept today. Oh, I'm running unit. I meant to write, bless you, day 19.
Unit two.
Unit two.
Unit two. Or-
It is unit 2, yes. Thanks. Thursday, February 13th. Okay, and I'm going to teach you one more thing today. This will be it for unit 2. And this is called special right triangles. So, there are 2 different, very special right triangles that exist that I'm going to show you about today. And this is how we name them. The first one we call a 30, 60, 90. And the second one we call a 45, 45, 90. Now these numbers are referring to the measure of the angles that make up the triangle. So we will draw a picture for both here in a minute. While we're getting our notes out and ready, let me grab my guide. Here is what we will draw. First, a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Here's what that's going to look like. You're going to have one long side and one short side that create our 90-degree angle, and then our hypotenuse. Then our 45, 45, 90, we will have two sides that are the same length, and then our hypotenuse. Now, on our 30, 60, 90 triangle, the very top angle is 30 degrees. The angle at the bottom here is 60 degrees.
So the 45, 45, 90,
Mm-hmm.
the side and the L part, yeah, are exact same.
They are the same, yes.
Okay.
And the angles are also the same. They're both 45 degrees. So here is the picture we draw. Now, on a 45, 45, 90 triangle, we call our side lengths X. Both of our sides are X because they're the same length, so they have the same variable. And our hypotenuse is represented by X radical 2. Now, when I say radical 2, has anyone ever heard a number be called with a radical in front of it? Yeah. A radical number is the square root of a number. Now, that is just a number that whenever I type it into my calculator, it's going to be irrational, meaning it never ends. It can't be written as a fraction. It's a decimal that goes on forever and ever and ever. So we keep it as the square root of 2, radical 2. This just means X times radical 2. So if I have one side length here, I know this side length as well because they're the same. And I know my hypotenuse because it's whatever this side is times the square root of 2. And we're going to run through that. I'm just giving you a little intro. Now the 30, 60, 90 has a different set of side length. Kind of getting things. My bottom value, my bottom side, we call X. My hypotenuse is 2 times the length of my bottom side. It's 2X. And finally, our longest side is labeled as X radical 3. And it's important that we have our angles labeled properly and our sides labeled properly because we want to make sure that we have, this is like a formula we're being given that we're going to use.
On the 30, 60, 90, the 60 degrees, do you have the two lines down, the two orange lines, because it's double the size of the top?
It's a different angle.
That's a good
I know it's a different
observation.
angle,
Yes,
but-
so I have 2 lines just because it's a different angle and I didn't want to put the same
Okay.
number of arcs to make it look like they were the same. But that is a good observation that it is twice the amount of the 30-degree angle. That's absolutely right. But that's not why I have 2 arcs.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how we use this.
My lady, don't be sorry.
And what we're going to do is I'm going to draw some little mini problems down here. And even though I wrote 30, 60, 90 first, let's actually start on this side with the 45, 45, 90. I'm going to split the bottom half of my page like this to separate it. And before I move down completely, does anyone still need to see this, or can I scoot? No scoot. Okay, so here's an example of how we would use a 45, 45, 90 triangle in context. So, for example, I am going to draw a little mini triangle again, because for me it helps. And I'm going to give it marks like this. Make this a lot bigger for you guys. We are going to call the point on the 90-degree angle, this vertex is A. The one at the top is B. And the one to the right, lower side is C. So A, B, C, like this. Okay. So when you see a problem where you're trying to solve for side lengths, it's going to look like this. I'll give you a side length. I'm going to tell you that the line segment, this is what this means. AC with a line over it tells me that the line where A and C are my endpoints, so this side length equals 3 inches. And then I would ask you to find AB and BC. Now, I always like to start these problems by labeling what I know. What do I know? What am I given?
AC equals A9.
Yes, I know AC is 3 inches. So let's go ahead and write 3 down here. And on a 45, 45, 90 triangle,
The other one is.
yeah, this is what I would also recommend you do. For anything, I would write that in x, x, x times radical 2, because that's what we're going to use to find the sides. So if I know that AC is x, and I know AC is 3, what is x?
3.
3. Good. If AC is x and AC is 3, then they are the same. They're both AC, so they are each other. X is 3. So we have here that we just labeled, this is 3. Now AC is labeled as x. What else is labeled as x?
AB.
AB. And if x is 3, then what is AB?
3.
3. Okay. Now I need to find BC. So BC is x times radical 2. Do I know what x is?
Yes, so it'll be 3 times 2, right?
3 times radical 2. So here's how we do that. We plug in 3 for x, radical 2, and in our calculator, we can type in here 3 second
Oh,
radical 2. You don't even need to type times. 3 radical 2. 4.24. Is that right? You get the
Yep.
same thing? Okay.
Okay, can you do that one more time?
Yes. Yes. So, let's Let's run through one more. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just
So
label.
it's not separated,
It's not what?
like the square root of 2, you just don't do the square root of 2 and then times it by 3?
I'm just gonna type it all in at once. 3 second square root 2. So let's see what would happen if I did it the other way that you're talking about. You did the square root of 2, 1.41 times 3, right? You'll get the same answer. That works too. You can do it that way. So 4.24 inches. Okay. So let's run through this again. Yes, start.
Okay, I have a bad habit of forgetting to put in the I in.
The inches.
I use the hashtag.
If you do that, that's fine too.
Okay,
Like
good
the
job.
dashes.
Okay,
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna run through this again with a separate example right under it. Let's see how we can do on this. So I'm gonna draw this one a little bigger, and I think I'm actually gonna use a ruler because my notes are making me mad. Give myself triangle that is 45, 45, 90. All this again, A, B, C. Our 90. This is our 45. This is our 45. And then here are the values I will give you. This time, tell you that AC is 5 inches, and you need to find AB and BC. So we want to start by labeling what we know. And maybe let's start by labeling our X's. So which two sides do I label X?
AC and AD.
AC is X.
I was very lost for a second. I was like,
AC is X and AB is X. There we go. What's our hypotenuse labeled as? X times radical 2. Good. So this is what we start with, right? Now, what side length was given to us?
AC.
AC. AC is 5 inches. So we're going to label that also. AC already has a label of X. So AC must be equal to X. AC is also equal to 5. So X equals 5 inches. Do you see where we got that from?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Wait, I don't know if I just spaced out, but where did the pipe?
Oh, I just gave it to you.
Oh.
It was just the given value I wrote.
Okay.
So we didn't have to find that. We didn't know it before. I just told you. So I know AC is X. AC is 5. So X is 5.
Would they be?
And how can I use? Yes, yes. If X equals 5, then I can use that and just plug it into all my other X's. AB is labeled with an X. And if X is 5, then X equals 5. AB is 5.
Now you plug it in.
Yeah. Now we want to find BC, which is x radical 2. So
Yes,
plug in your 5 for x radical 2.
10.0.
Should you round up?
Oh, okay, 7.1.
See, 5
Okay, round
times
five.
7.07. Is that what
So
y'all
would-
got?
yes,
Wait,
would
do
it
you
be
round
round
it?
up? round it to
This one
0?
doesn't need to be rounded
It doesn't.
because the digit after 7 is 1. So you don't
It
need to
wouldn't go up.
round up. It would just
Oh,
stay the
okay.
same. Yes. So
You did it again, Matt.
7.07.
No, don't do that to me. Don't do that.
Ew.
Mickey.
Okay.
Of course, not around everything else.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about it,
They used to make us do it in school, right?
yeah, it didn't matter what the one beside it was. If like, if it was like, it could have been 7, 7, 5, 4,
Right.
and you would still, be rounding up.
Right.
So.
Okay.
That was not that bad.
Not too bad.
No.
Not too bad. Does this make sense to everybody? We feel okay about it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get a slightly more complicated.
Yes.
So, let's look at the 30, 60, 90 triangles. Now, I'm gonna use my ruler. Okay, hang on. Sorry, guys. Going all over the place. We're gonna draw a triangle. Okay. And I'm gonna label 30, 60, 90. Okay. Needs the same A, B, C.
Hello.
Here, pause.
You're so sweet.
I know, right? Okay, so let's say AC is 5 inches again. You find BC and AB. Sorry, I wrote them in a different order on accident this time, but so first, let's label our sides with their special values with all the X's.
Okay.
So my side, my shortest side across from 30, what's that labeled as?
X.
X. How about my longer side across
X.
from 60?
X of square. What? How do you say that?
X radical 3.
X radical 3.
Yes, this one is X radical 3.
So you can't say square. You have to say
You
radical.
could say,
Well, since we're dealing with angles and triangles, you have to say radical.
it's not because of that, it's because saying, it's like a shortcut to saying it, like, instead of saying X times the square root of 3 versus X radical 3. It's a lot faster.
I just would say X squared. I mean, okay, yeah, got it.
Right? Because if you say X squared, I might think you're doing X times X.
Got you.
Which is a little different.
Right.
Okay, and then what's our hypotenuse labeled?
2X.
Yes, 2X. Good. 2X.
Okay.
Okay, so what you might have noticed from the first two problems we did is when we start this process, the first thing we always are going to do is solve for X. We want to find out what is my value for X. And that's going to help us find the rest. So AC is 5 inches. How can I find X?
For which one?
Right here. AC is 5 inches. How can I find the value of X?
see the 5 inch right there.
Isn't it 5?
Yeah, it is.
I'm like, Miss Taylor, what are we looking for?
If AC is 5 inches and AC is labeled X, then X is
Okay.
5. Yes,
Alright,
yes,
okay.
I know, kind of a trick question. It's almost too easy.
My brain is
I was
hurting.
like, what's going on?
No, you got it.
My brain
So,
hurts.
I'm sorry.
So,
So if they tell us that this side length is 5 and this side length is X, then X is 5. Okay. How can we use X now to solve for my other sides?
Look in your X with 5 to
Yes. Okay, so which one do we want to find first?
2x,
Yeah, let's use 2x because that is BC.
2 times 5.
Yeah, so down here, if we wanted to write it out, sometimes it's nice to see it organized, but you know, work however you need. I'm gonna write BC equals 2x. So 2 times, we're replacing x with 5. So BC is 10. Good. All right. Now, how do we find AB?
Plug in 5 for x,
Yes. B is
5 radical 3.
good. We plug in 5 for x times radical 3.
166.
8.66?
Yeah.
Awesome. 8.66 inches. We go. Okay. Now, the tricky part is whenever the side length they give you is not x.
Oh.
Uh-huh. It does get trickier than this. However, let's see. Odds are the tougher ones of these, because I'm only introducing it today. If they're on the quiz, they'll be boning. Okay. But you guys want to try one where we aren't given X for fun?
Sure.
Let's try.
Let's try. And this will probably be the last thing we do because we have meetings on Thursdays now at 3:15. So I'm gonna have to get prepared for that meeting, sadly. But if any of you are needing extra help with any of this, tell me, come in tomorrow. And also on Monday, when we do our practice quiz, we will again review everything.
Do you have the print off of notes or?
From like this week?
Yeah.
I can get you them,
I tried
yes.
to email you, but I couldn't.
Oh,
I came on Tuesday and I looked in the room and I was trying to come talk to you, but you was doing your class. My son had got sick, so I had to stay home with him, and now I'm sick.
well, I will have
No,
you.
that's the way Amber is. Amber's been out all week.
And right on the cardboard.
Abigail was sick and that stuff.
Yeah, there's
And
something
then
going around.
she's got it bad.
Okay, I'm gonna write on here. Why not? Let's say we have. We're gonna do a 30, 60, 90. Again. Because these are a little bit tougher, just because there's 3 different values. Again, A, B, C. And this time, what if I give you?
The answer?
Nope. I'm gonna give you the hardest one.
Wow.
Hey, I
I
tried.
just want to see if any of you can figure it out. Let's say that A, B equals 4. I want you to solve for BC and AC.
AC is 13.5, that will be the X, and then times 2, that's 27.7. 1 over BC.
Okay, Chance, hang on. You tell me again. What'd you say? What'd you get for which value?
So for the first one, it's you're gonna do A over square root of 3, I think. So that gets you 13.5 for your A to C, which is your X. And then you just multiply that by 2 to get your A, B, C.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
That went straight over my head. Please say that.
Okay, let's
You
do
did
it
that really fast.
slowly. So, AB, that's the side right here,
Yeah.
is 24 inches. Let's start by labeling our X values.
So how do you reverse the answer?
I'll show you.
Okay.
So, AC, my shortest side, X. AB, that's X radical 3. And then BC,
Do it.
2x. Good. So we are given AB. So this means that x radical 3 equals, yes, equals 24.
Oh, okay, now. Right.
So we're going to write this out and we're going to solve for x. I have x radical 3 equals 24. Now, before we solve this, is anyone unsure how we got this equation? Just to quickly explain it again, AB is x radical 3. So this is AB. This is also AB. If both of these can label the same thing, they're the same thing. They are equal to each other, okay? They're both the same. So I know that x times radical 3 equals 24. How can I solve for x?
Divide by 2,
Where am I dividing by 2?
the 2x, I'm sorry.
So this is the equation I'm working with,
Oh, okay.
right?
Do you,
Yeah, never mind.
do you divide or times 3 on each side? Do you,
Divided by, because
it's divide. Okay, so divide by 3 on each side.
Not just by 3.
divided by the square root of 3. So
Yes.
it's-
So we're going to think of radical 3 as it's just a number, but it just looks scary because it has a weird name. We are doing the opposite of multiplying. Instead of taking x times radical 3, we're going to divide by radical 3 on both sides. And here's how we do that. I'm just going to type 24 divided by, oops, that's not what I wanted. Divided by radical 3. See that? Enter. And there's my x. I want to make sure everybody can type this in first.
Is that 86?
13.86. Good. So that's our x. X equals 13.86 inches. Okay, so now we've solved for x. Can we find the rest of our sides?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that.
13.86 times 2.
13.86 times 2. Which side length will that give us?
BC.
It'll give us BC because that's 2x. So we take that times 2.
27.7.
Yeah. 27.71 inches. And what about AC? What's that? It's x. So it's
13.
yeah, it's 13.86. It's not as terrible as you might think.
No,
It's just getting comfortable with a radical. That's new. It's just like a number with a fancy
I'm
hat.
comfortable with you.
With me,
You're a radical.
yeah.
Yes.
What is
Radical.
Duh.
Okay. All right, guys. There's the intro to that. we are gonna go ahead and wrap up because I have some things I need to get together before this meeting. There's no exit ticket today. On Tuesday, Monday, we will do the practice quiz. At that time, we will do tons of practice with all of these things. If you want help before then, come in tomorrow or send me a message. Rewatch lesson videos, that's helpful. Okay? Yes. But that's it, guys. The end.